Alright, I want to show you some introductory tips to Notability. So I'm going to pull down, type in N-O-T, here's Notability. This is kind of the home screen, if you will, of Notabilities. At the top it shows you have the all notes subject chosen. I have 80 notes, and you can see here are all my 80 notes. And then they are classified or categorized, funneled into subjects, which are in circles or dots, colored dots, and there are folders that are in triangles or dividers. Touch the divider or the folder, whatever you want to call it, and it tucks your subjects away. And you can see over here in each subject it shows how many notes you have. So I have 27 notes in the tracing letters portion of my Notability. So, and then to play with those, you can edit, touching the settings, or you can hold the 3 lines till it gets bigger or plumps up, and then you can move it to a different folder under. I can move this tracing letters down into the students divider, let it go, and then it will be in there. If you look over here, you can rename, you can highlight, and then move to another subject, or you can touch here and duplicate, or you can trash them. I'm going to touch done because I don't need to do anything. Now, in your home screen in Notability, your start spot, I am going to show you how to create a new note and to use these 6 tools in what I like to call the desk. This is the desk area as I refer to it because that's where kids keep all their school supplies. So if I have the text option selected here and I just tap anywhere per se, right here where my arrow is, you can see right across to the left it justifies the cursor. I can touch this button right here to move the cursor about 5 spaces at a time. I can touch this right here and it will move it 5 spaces back. If I don't want it to be justified to the left, I can touch and hold down and text box will pop up. And then I touch text box, and now I can type or use text inside a text box. So maybe you want to create a text box. If I type in here today, oh, you can't see it because I've chosen for some reason white. Today is Friday. Now I can make it bigger by touching one of these 4 handles and grabbing and moving. If I make it too small, nothing will show up. If I make it too big, I don't necessarily want it to be too big. So maybe I just want it to be like that. And I can disable text wrap, so it'll wrap around a picture, cut it, copy it, delete it, or I can touch paper and I can change the background of the paper. And if I'm going to choose white in the line option, you might want to use the line for the pencil or the writing option with the stylus, but these are just some options that you have. So I touch it again, my keyboard pops up. Now, if I'm going to type over here, I'm just going to type a letter per se inside my note. I can change my font. I can increase my font size incrementally by touching the A. See, the number goes down. Incrementally by touching the big A. The number goes up. And then you have your color options right here. Bold, italicized, underlined. If they're shaded, they're checked. Now over here, you have A, B, and C. You could have 3 default options. If If you touch and hold down A, if you touch and hold down A, B, or C, it will give you to choose a favorite. So if I choose B, blue, size 22, size 24, excuse me, as A is my favorite font, I come over here and I highlight what I've already done. Select all. If I come over and since it's selected, if I touch A right here, look what happens. It changes it to my A default font. Now what you saw is I touched right in here and held down. Watch what happens when I do that. I can drag items to edit in the toolbar. I can change my formatting. I'm not sure. I can create it justified on one side, or this would be a left justified, this might be a right justified. Touch done to get rid of that. That's the typing option. Now I'm going to come up to the arrow right here, and I'm going to undo everything that I did by just tapping it. Just tapping right up here. Watch as everything disappears. Now I want to show you the pencil, the highlighter, and the eraser. They have three fundamental differences, but they both incorporate one thing or have a couple things in common. With the pencil, I choose the pencil. If I touch it twice, I can choose many different things. Thickness, streak, a difference in streak. You see this is kind of a little less finite than this one is. I like this thickness here because it shows up pretty accurately. It's not too big, but not too small either. Color options, so it's selected in blue. You see my pencil is blue. I'm going to choose red. And then with one finger or a stylus, I can draw or write anywhere I'd like. So sign my name. With the highlighter, I can, if I choose the same color, red again, watch the highlighter. It does not go over and remove, essentially visually remove what I've done. If I choose the pencil again and I go over what I did in pencil, you really can't read it, you really can't see it. But with the marker or the highlighter, I'm going to touch the undo button here to show you what I undid. With the marker or the highlighter, excuse me, it highlights. It doesn't go over anything that you did. It just highlights. Choose yellow. Any other options? You might want a thicker streak with your highlighter if you're going to be highlighting text. You know, it's just probably easier and it will show up better. So now if I touch off that, it'll disappear. And the eraser, if I touch this area right here, watch what happens. It erased all my highlighter in this area right here because this was all one streak. It's a little different than the eraser on the smartboard, the smart technology, where you would have to circle all of it and then tap the dot in the middle. With the eraser, you just touch what you want, and that whole streak will erase. I'm going to start here with my eraser and go all the way across, and you can see my streak and what it will erase. And then you just let go, and voila, it disappears. I'm still in contact with the iPad. Now when I let go, you see that it disappears. Now, two things that these three have in common is one, is they all have the magnifying glass down here in the bottom. If I touch the magnifying glass, It's more of a magnifying box. I can change the size of my magnifying glass, but let me show you if there's something that's already here. So I can touch here to make it disappear, and then I touch here to make it reappear. Or if it's not in play, if it's down at the bottom, I can touch and hold my iPad anywhere, and it will just pop up. So if you have a student that is using the pencil, the highlighter, or the eraser, and they just hold their finger in one spot, this will pop up. Now, if you look, as I move my magnifying box, you can see what's in the magnifying box here is magnified and shows up down here. So, and then when I move, if I touch anywhere up here, it will just move my magnifying box. But if I'm down here with my highlighter, pencil, or eraser, it will be essentially effective down here. So when I write or use my pencil down here, it shows up here. Well, using the magnifying glass will yield more precise annotating and more controlled annotating. You will run out of space less. Now if you look at these three boxes, you'll be able to utilize much more space with the magnifying glass. If I want this box to move over here without coming up here, I can just touch this box. You see that? If I wanted to go back, I'd touch this box. If I wanted to go down to the next line and be left justified, I touch this box right here. Kind of like a return. And if I want it to go away, I can touch the magnifying glass, or I can touch these three lines and bring it down if I'd like. Okay, so that's kind of that's these three tools. Now, if I want to navigate my note and one of these three are highlighted, I have to use two fingers to go up and down or to navigate or scroll through my note. If I use one finger, look what happens. I'm actually annotating. If I use two fingers, it goes up and down. I'm able to scroll. Same thing with the marker or the highlighter. One finger will actually do it. Two fingers, I can scroll. The eraser, the same difference. If I go up and down, it erases. It's effective. It does what the tool is designed to do, unless you use two fingers. If you want to use one finger to navigate, use this toolbar right here. With one finger, you can scroll up and down. You're not going to annotate. Essentially, you've turned it into a PDF when this is highlighted. Now the scissors. Let me create something fun first before we use the scissors. The scissors is kind of cool. In fact, it's really cool. So I have my shape, or I have essentially anything. I choose the scissors. I draw a circle, or I draw a complete shape completely around it, telling the app that I want to manipulate this shape. So with two fingers touched together, I can touch the screen, spread them apart, bring them together. With two fingers, I can change the orientation of the shape, change the size of the shape, proportionately change the size of the shape, and then I can leave it. Now I can also change the style. I can cut it, I can copy it, or I can delete it. To change the style, maybe you want to change the thickness. You want it thicker, so you touch a thicker thickness. And maybe if you want to change the color, you can do that as well. So maybe I wanted a blue, thick triangle. So then if I tap it again, I can copy it, and then I touch somewhere else, and I can paste it, and then I can create other shapes or add if I wish to do so. So that's the scissors. It's kind of a neat little tool. I'm going to cut this video short. In the next video